Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors are in agreement on a contract. Kuminga agrees to a 2-year, $48.5 million deal to return to the Golden State Warriors. The deal has a team option in year 2. Of all of the options that were on the table, obviously Jonathan could take the qualifying offer. Jonathan had a 3-year fully guaranteed deal at $54 million. Jonathan had a 2-year, a 1+1 with a team option for $48. That's what he took. He also had a 3-year deal at $75 million, which was a 2-year plus a team option. He selects the 1+1, which maximizes his first year money. So he gets the guaranteed money, which I think is up to about $23 million for year 1. It's a team option in the following year, which means this can work as a tradable 2-year deal. It can also work as an expiring contract. My very, very quick analysis on this is that Jonathan Kuminga has decided to, A, maximize his money in year 1, but B, also maximize the likelihood of getting himself out of Golden State as soon as possible in the way of the Warriors being able to move him. This is a very, very tradable contract.
Right, and the Warriors ultimately put their offer up. This is from Sham saying they ultimately increased its offer by $8 million in the 2-year framework to guarantee him approximately $15 more than his qualifying offer would have for this season. So this year it's basically 23, and then for the next year it's 25.5 with a team option on that. And ultimately, if you're a team that might want to acquire Jonathan Kuminga and you like him, then you trade for him before February, and then you exercise that option for 25.5, and you hope he likes you to the point where you can then extend him and keep him. So the Warriors gave up nothing in terms of control. They gave up a little bit more money, and they sweetened the pot for Kuminga progressively, and ultimately you got to the point where tomorrow was the deadline, so he's down to 32.5 hours to where they had to make a decision, and he took the money and not run. He took the money and he stayed. Knowing full well that the bigger the number in year 1, the likelier it is that the Warriors will trade him, either aggregate him and trade him or just trade him straight up. So smart move, and tip of the cap to his agent, Aaron Turner, because they pushed this all the way. And whatever ill will you developed with the organization, that might go a long way toward actually getting you out of here even sooner. Yeah, although I would actually say, this is essentially kind of the deal that's been on the table for a little while. I thought that one was 45, 2 years and 45 I thought that's where that number was when Aaron Turner came on with Steiny and Goo about 10 days ago. Maybe. What we're talking about, a couple $1 million for the first year. I do think that the number 23, from what I understand, is a very significant one, because if you go over that, if they went over the number 23 in year 1, that would zap that last roster spot that they're hoping to use on Steph's brother. I think that this allows them to now, so that's my hope, is that sometime before we go to bed tonight, you'll see the rest of the contracts all become finalized. Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and maybe Seth Curry gets that last guaranteed roster spot for the Warriors, but we'll see. That's a question for a different day. But the bottom line here is that I'm really also happy the Warriors did not blink on this idea of a player option. I think a lot of fans, I've heard from a lot of fans who really thought, what's the difference? Team option, player option, whatever. And to me, it's a big, big deal. And I'm really glad the Warriors did not blink on that part. If it's a couple more $1 million for year 1, great. Do that. Who cares? Right. But do not turn the team option into a player option. That significantly lowers the value of the contract in a potential trade. Instead, what you now have, as you just pointed out, an acquiring team, let's say they do this in February, an acquiring team gets a half year to look at Jonathan Kuminga, and then they get to the end of that year. If they love him, they get him for another year at a pretty good price, $25 million.
If they don't, they can opt out, and then that gets him to free agency very quickly. And even if he plays the life of the deal, this gets him to unrestricted free agency in 2 years, less than 2 years, actually, at the end of 2 seasons from now.
Yep.
And Jonathan will still be, 24? So it gets him to free agency at a very young rate. This makes sense, but I'm glad that cool heads prevailed. I never bought that he was going to take the qualifying offer. That would have been a disaster. That never made sense. And I'm also glad that the Warriors did not blank and turn this into a player option. So this is probably as good of a resolution, at least on a temporary front, that we were going to get based on where we arrived. I still think there are some emotions to navigate. We'll see how that plays out. It's going to be hard for him to do. He's done it before.
This is what I actually thought was going to happen.
This is the best case scenario.
You and I talked a couple of weeks ago about what would you do if you were Kuminga, and this is what I thought that they would do and should do, because it gives them that flexibility where even if the Warriors don't trade him, it's 2 years and you get $45 million. Turns out the offer went up to $48.5. So the Warriors threw in a little bit of a sweetener, a year 2 sweetener, like you're saying, because you can't get over 23 because that would hard cap you and blah, 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 the rest of the rules. But there was a certain number that they couldn't meet in year 1, but they got to a point where, all right, we're going to sweeten you up in year 2, but it's a team option. So if we do trade you, that team that acquires you is going to have to carry with you that $25.5 million in year 2. So that becomes something that if you're Kuminga, you realize the reality of it, which is, all right, now it's up to Kuminga to go out and play well and play hard and do all the things that you're supposed to do and get to a point where, all right, maybe you're helping the Warriors be good again, so you stay, or you're playing as well as you can and you're doing great, and then the Warriors decide that they find somebody else they want more, and then they trade you, but the acquiring team is looking at going, man, Kuminga came out and he's averaging 15.5, and he's doing all the things that, his agent said that he would do if he played 30 minutes, and darn it, now he's doing it, so now we want Kuminga. So for me, this is a win-win because the Warriors maintain control in year 2, and Kuminga now has a real incentive. He's paid, and he has an incentive to go out there and play great.
Absolutely. Like, I will add that Shams also kind of added to this. The deal with that team option is designed for the contract to be ripped up and renegotiated next summer. Now, that's kind of, I think, in the eyes of Aaron Turner, who's probably the one who's breaking this to Shams. But, obviously the team can also opt out. He may not even be on the Warriors by then. But to your point, if he plays great, if he goes out and he plays great, then yes, you can sort of rip up the deal and renegotiate. Now, I don't know if there's some sort of a wink, wink, nod, nod, like we're going to rip this up and renegotiate it next summer, because if he plays great, why wouldn't the Warriors just be like, no, we're going to pick up the team option? But then maybe there's be an extension that would be involved in it. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this can go. I still think option A is most likely that the Warriors will try to trade him come January, February, but we'll see. Now you get to go into, let's gather the data, because here's the other thing. I don't think he's going to get DNPs. I really don't.
No.
He's going to play. He's going to play. They're going to have to try to figure it out. If he gets DNPs, it's because they try to play him and it ends up not working. But those DNPs came in the highest of leverage moments going into and then into the playoffs, where the Warriors felt like there were no minutes to kind of mess around and test things and whatnot. And Jimmy Butler's here and Jonathan's coming back from injury and all of that stuff. That won't be the case at the start of the year. So is he going to get 30 minutes a night? I doubt it, but he's not going to get DNPs. Jonathan is back, and now it is his job to get the head totally screwed on straight and then go play good basketball and go play it the way I would argue the Warriors would like him to play it.